All right, guys, welcome back. So we are going to look into this code. As you guys can remember, this was our last post we done on social media. It's about TypeScript Generics, and some of the questions raised around this number 3 line. So I thought do a quick video so to give a little bit of more context to this. So the particular it was about this extension we are doing here, t extend uh, with an object of shape having a ID, the number. And the guys, first thing we need to remember is always in TypeScript is using duck typing, right? So structural typing is not like in Java. So it's like anything that quacks is a duck. That's all. So if it doesn't, the names and the things you are giving for the class name doesn't matter as far as the structure is the same, right? It's accept as the same. So here what we are saying is any object, we don't mind having any extra properties, but as far it has ID property, then it can be used, right? And the question was why we need this one. Can't we just have a lovely syntax of very simple syntax of just having t, right? The answer would be very obvious once I remove this one. Oh, I removed too much. Now we'll see if we go through the whole code base. There's a one red underliner here, 19, and types giving us a very good feedback on this one, saying property ID does not exist on type t. All right, so how that TypeScript would say that? I mean, that simply says that TypeScript doesn't have much assurance. So every time if we use this class to construct something passing a type, that type would always has this particular property ID. I mean, guys, which is something we need to accept, right? Because it's giving us the right kind of the view about this class, because you want to make a generic class. But again, we are trying to be a little bit being specific on Lambda 19, accessing a property, and we have some presumptions about this generic class. So the lines 16 and 70 clearly explain everything in detail, but simply, guys, what he says is, I can't trust, sorry, your code, because you are saying you're passing in a t, but you haven't given me assurance that the t will always contain ID. So if you put that line back where we say t extend ID number, right? So all happy with that, and it knows that'll be all. But if we change something like, let's say, title, right? It won't be happy about that because we are not saying that object has a title property, right? But if we put the title here, string, but of course this is now we're comparing the ID, but it's a different kind of an array same. But if we say it's some sort of a string, if we add it here, it's happy with that because it knows, looking at this structure, we added this type constraint that any type that extend, which should definitely have ID and title in there, so we can access that property, right, guys? So anyways, this doesn't make sense to check the title for this particular logic, but that's the whole idea, guys. And as you can see, TypeScript giving you amazing feedback on this one. You don't have to worry at all or be kind of being an extraordinary person to understand this one. It just gives us the feedback. We just have to follow it and see what needs to be done. So guys, that's pretty much. So it's all about why we needed this type constraint. The technical term is called the type constraint, which is clearly mentioned here. So that's the one of the example where we would need to use the type constraint. So guys, this is a really cool example. It's a very simple example. Uh, get into the GitHub and have a look, play around with that code and see how you can get the basic understanding of the generic itself. So as you guys can see, the basic generic is cool, but still if you add the type constraint, you get more power in there. Right, guys, so hope that video helps. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment or send me any message on LinkedIn, or if you're happy to connect with me, feel free to follow to my site or go to the LinkedIn and find my ID and send me a message. All right, guys, thanks very much.